Hello, Portland Public School students. So, as you could probably guess from the video that you just watched, today's topic is going over misinformation, disinformation, and credible information. So, I really find that this is a very, very important topic today because there is a lot of misinformation that comes at us on our social media sites, and it can be difficult to tell what to believe and what not to. And so, in our final few lessons here that we have in trimester 2, we're going to be taking a look at this. Today, we're going to be looking at kind of like what is misinformation, and we're going to get a look at how well you can identify it with the skills you have now. And then in future lessons, I'm going to give you a method for checking that information, which is what we know as SIFT. So we'll explore that further in a future lesson. And so when I'm talking about misinformation and disinformation, I'm talking about misinformation is really when we are spreading false information, but we're not doing so intentionally, okay? Maybe we saw something and we were shocked by it, and so we hit the share button and later found out, oh my gosh, that's not true, in which case we would need to pull it down so we're not spreading that. But that was unintentional. We didn't mean to spread that misinformation. Disinformation, however, is a lie that is crafted in order to kind of trick or compel people to believe something that just isn't true, okay? That is malicious. It's done badly, okay? And then, of course, credible information is information that comes from a trusted source and is something that we can believe. Now, there's a couple quotes I want to share that are more recent that I think are important context to bring to this, okay? And one was shared by the owner of X and the person who is running the Department of Government Efficiency right now. And in a recent conference, someone called him out and said, hey, you spread some misinformation. What do you have to say about that? So let me read you his quote here. So Elon Musk says, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000, meaning I'm not going to hit everyone out of the park, every baseball, every truth. I'm not going to be right every time. And so really what he's saying there is it's not really up to me to spread true information. It's up to other people to make sure that they are thinking critically through the things I'm saying to prove it right or wrong. And this is really disturbing for me on a couple levels, right? We should account on the people who are the leaders to be spreading good information. And if you are in charge of a social media site and this is your stance on it, this is concerning. Other ways in which social media has come in the news recently, Meta, the owners of Facebook and Instagram, have pulled back on their fact checking. And so you used to get a little thing like, hey, this has been proven not credible. And so it would warn people, but that is no longer happening. It is just communities can flag those kind of things in order to create that kind of thing, but that is not nearly as effective. The other thing that's important to know is how quickly misinformation can spread. So I'm going to read you another quote there. So a group called the Integrity Institute did a study that found that a well-crafted lie will get more engagements than typical truthful content, and that some features of social media sites and their algorithms contribute to the spread of misinformation. So even these lies that get a lot of attention will go farther, they'll reach a broader audience, they'll be retweeted more than a truthful statement. Okay, just a few things to be thinking about as we get into today's lesson. So, today's lesson, you're actually going to be doing a quiz that will test your ability to decipher what is credible information, what's a credible source, and what isn't. So, you will have an activity. It's going to be on a Google form, but you will take a look at some examples, and we can see what background you're bringing to this before we get into the SIFT method on how to determine whether a source is credible or not. So, thank you, students, for engaging in this, and I hope you really come away from this final unit with some skills on how to decipher what is true and what is not to be trusted.